Who on Who? The podcast devoted to the review of classic series Doctor Who DVDs in no particular order.
Greetings, fellow Doctor Who fans, and welcome to a Who the Heck Put That Plunger on This Trash Can edition of Who on Who, the podcast devoted to the review of classic series Doctor Who DVDs in no particular order. As always, I am your co-host, Marty.
And I am your other co-host, David Huey. You didn't say your last name.
Well, I think they know.
Well, they do.
We are related, so one would assume.
They know that too, don't they? We're changing things up a little bit today. Going to go ahead and
just to surprise people.
Well, and to surprise you because I threw it on you at the last minute. You're opening the show. What?
My headphones on and everything.
Yeah, so what? Take the iPod out.
I actually have to do something on the show. What?
Yes, you do. We are going to be reviewing the Daleks today, and so we're excited about that.
The most second episode ever.
Yes. More black and white. More black and white. Before we go any further, though, of course, you know, we have listener feedback email that we want to get to as well. No high-speed review this time.
No new
Who is over.
No new Who.
Moment of silence. Okay. I actually went back and listened to our last episode 27, where we reviewed The Invasion. And normally I don't go back and listen to the whole thing because by the time we've recorded it and I've edited it and gone into post-production, all the other podcasters right now are nodding their heads, you know, in simpatico because you don't really want to listen to yourself. Plus, it's kind of weird to hear my own voice coming out of something other than my mouth.
See, I'm just vain enough to actually go back and listen to the podcast.
Well, I'm glad you do because, I mean, if somebody, you know, catches a flub or something like that, and there shouldn't be after editing, but it's always possible. But I did go back and listen to it, and I realized we were talking about you moving.
Yeah.
At one point. And I didn't actually complete the thought all the way through. And so I did get a couple of messages from people, and one of them may even be in here in one of the emails that I'm going to read. But let me clarify one thing. Marty is leaving in, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from today.
Leaving the house.
But not our lives.
Yeah.
And we'll be home.
I'm not dying.
He's only going. He's only moving a couple of hours away. We will continue to record from our individual locations.
Yeah.
And still be together on Who permanently.
Yeah. I'm not leaving the show.
Yeah. He can't get rid of me that easy. And then yeah. And then when he's back home for, you know, holidays and things, we'll record in person if the need arises. But. A lot of other podcasts do that. They record from, you know, different locations and make it work. And, you know, I know we can, so it's not going to be that big of a deal.
No,
you know,
it's 2 hours. So.
As long as you pay your internet connection bill.
Actually, it's included in my rent, so it's okay.
Oh, well, there you go. Awesome. Yeah. All right. Until they find out how much bandwidth they're running. What is this?
How much is this guy torrenting?
Yes. What? Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
I'm not torrenting. I don't know what at all. We don't endorse that.
Some people refer to that as the David Huey method, or at least it was referred that way on the and I was a little sheepish about that. And I said, God, let's not coin that phrase, shall we? Anyway, okay. Without any further ado, any further? Do we have anything to do?
Not besides the listener email. No.
Okay, we have the listener email, and then we're going to review that whole DVD
But that's the
thing.
normal, you know,
yes.
the normal swing of things.
Well, then let's get the feedback email.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail.
Okay, our first email comes from this guy, Dave Hingley.
Do we know Dave Hingley?
They've got email in the bunker?
I think maybe.
All right. Well, this comes from Dave. He says, hi, guys. Listening to the podcast at work. First up, I got to say, I would like to nail my colors to loving Marty Huey's high-speed review section.
That's one fan.
There you go. That's all you need in this world.
I guess, yeah.
Can I suggest that in the off-season, Marty could review older New Who?
Yeah,
like Eccleston and Tennant.
Eccleston and Tennant. I've thought about that.
And he says, so you have a definite fan there. If I could make a suggestion, when Marty is doing a review, could we have some background music? I always think that when I hear a high-speed review that the music from Countdown would be fun. He goes on to explain that Countdown is a game show there in the UK, which might not translate well here. I'm sure it will, unless it's in Japanese or something like that. But.
Possibly, yeah.
But I'm thinking, I started thinking about, something
like the Jeopardy music or something.
Yeah, something with a little bit of a tempo.
I think initially I was going to try to get the commercial break theme from 24 and put that in there.
Okay.
Do that thing. But I couldn't find it on the internet anywhere.
How about the Michael Myers theme from Halloween? You know,
I guess that could work, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be worried somebody was coming through the window. That would bother me a little. He goes, yes, he is up for galley. So look out, LAX Marriott. The Who crew will be in his house or his Marriott, his hotel.
Something.
No, that just sounds silly. Okay, still trying to talk Mike around, but his experiments in the titanium bunker require constant observations. Yes, they do.
Things explode.
So surprisingly, yes, Mike and me did go out of the titanium. Well, he's admitting to it now. He's been caught. He's admitting in public. Me and Mike did leave the titanium bunker on vacation together. Instead of being in our cramped underground bunker, we decided instead to have a cramped stalag in a holiday POW camp. Hoping you guys are well, Dave. Now, first of all, I take offense to that being cramped because the bunker is not cramped. I've been down there myself a couple of times.
Quite a big bunker, I think. I just imagine them on the beach and like those two metal crates where all they can do is stand.
I was it could be. I was kind of picturing like deep sea diving,
an eye slot.
Yeah, with the big helmets from deep sea diving thing, just out there. This is what the world is like. Our next email comes from, I believe this is pronounced Hamish Scott, or it could be Hamish Scott. I'm not sure, and I'm always very sensitive about that, so please let me know. But I'm going to go with Hamish here. And he says, hello, David and Marty. Just started listening to your podcast after hearing you both on the Doctor Who podcast. I only recently got up to date, and following your latest episode reviewing The Invasion, one of my all-time favorite stories, I decided to send in some feedback regarding some things from the last episode. The Virgin books describe the Cybermen splitting into different groups. This is most likely the reason for their different appearances in the early episodes. Below is a chart showing the evolution of the Cybermen throughout their on-screen appearances based on the facts from the books. And he did include a
very
really
flowchart.
cool. Yeah, I mean it's a very cool.
I've seen that flowchart somewhere else on the internet too.
Oh, yeah?
They have a similar one for the Daleks.
Well, because Doctor Who deals so much in time travel that you're going back and forth.
You kind of need flowcharts.
You almost do because something you're seeing now. You may be an earlier model of something you saw
like 20 years ago.
Exactly. I always kind of just, like I said last time, chalked it up to upgrades.
I just roll with it.
I
whatever.
Figure, we could move a little faster, be more efficient if we upgrade this, kind of thing. But anyway, he goes on to say, secondly, Tobias Vaughn, say it for me.
Back up.
Thank you. All right, does reappear, but not in a big finish, in a new adventure called Original Sin.
Right.
Finally, yes, all episodes exist in audio format. Huzzah. I thought they did, so I'm really glad about that. Looking forward to your review of the Daleks. Keep up the good work. Hamish. Thank you, Hamish. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the flow chart, as Marty has dubbed it. I've kept it, and I have it on my desk over there.
We're going to inflate it and put it on the wall somewhere.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
We should go to Kinko's or someplace.
There you go.
That'll raise a few eyebrows. Could you make this into a poster, please?
And frame it, if you could.
And frame it, yes. Mat it. All right. His next email comes from Graham Sheridan.
Hey.
All right, Graham says, hi, David and Marty. Long time no feedback, eh? Did send you one about the whole lieutenant-lieutenant thing, but I seem to come afoul of your new feedback rules. I'm not sure what he means by that. I thought we did. Didn't we get one from him about that?
The what? The feedback rules.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means. I don't know if he means that maybe the...
Graham, write us again. Tell us what you mean. We don't understand.
Did the email bounce back to you? Or because I thought we did hear from you on that, but maybe we didn't.
I don't know.
Anyhow, He says, I'm glad that you got around to doing one of my favorite existing Troughton stories, if not my absolute favorite of the entire Troughton period. But with the Seeds of Death, it makes it difficult for me to pin down which story I like better. With the evil of Vaughn, the absolute iconic filming of Cybermen bursting out of the sewers, or the Cybermen marching down a set of steps with St. Paul's Cathedral in the background, it's still a difficult choice. My favorite scene still is where Zoe gives the computerized receptionist a reprogramming verbally, showing how clever she is and that she's not just another dumb screamer of a companion. The interview with Daniel Hall was fantastic. Yes, it was. Thank you again, Daniel, if you're listening. And I was hoping you'd or Marty would have mentioned the animated option for missing episodes. My personal suggestion would be the 10th Planet, as there is only one part missing, and they could do a clever blend at the end to place the original footage of the regeneration in as it should be. This is an important story, as it has two firsts, the first Cyberman story, and, of course, the obvious first regeneration. It was nice to have this episode of Who on Who in mono, as I listen mostly at work, and for safety reasons, I can only have one earbud in from my iPod, and would be delighted if you could do so in the future, or at least have yourself and Marty centered. Your pal in podcasting, Graham. P.S. Graham's classic sci-fi podcast has changed its name to The Second Doctor's Podcast, and for you folks who are interested in finding that, that's spelled the 2ND Doctors with no apostrophe podcast. And he still does Professor How, which is always great fun. So enjoy that a lot. And Graham, you get your wish as far as the sound thing goes. I have, as you no doubt can tell by now, have fiddled a bit more with the sound. Mm-hmm. I've centered Marty and I so that we're not panning left and right anymore. And have done a couple other things in post to make it sound like, so to sort of alleviate that me coming out of one speaker and Marty out of the other kind of thing. So. But again, it's a constant work in progress because I have no formal skill as a sound editor. All right.
I don't either.
Next one comes from Kyle Anderson from Los Angeles. Kyle says, "Hi, David and Marty. With so many Doctor Who podcasts out there, for time's sake, one must be discriminating when selecting which shows to subscribe to. I heard both of your episodes of the Doctor Who podcast, and I thought, now these guys know what they're talking about."
Well, we pretend to.
Yeah, exactly. You ruined it for everybody.
You can hear all of our listeners dropping now.
Then I binged on I'm sure they figured that one out a long time ago. Says, then I binged on all of your back episodes, and needless to say, I've become a subscriber. As a newer fan of of Doctor Who, some of the most fun for me has been renting or buying, and then in parentheses he says, let's face it, buying mostly, the classic series DVDs, and I actually had just bought Remembrance of the Daleks when you posted your review. All of your reviews are very apt and relatable, and I really enjoy the family banter between you. Your new review of The Invasion was spot on. It's definitely one of my top 5 stories ever, and the DVD is fantastic. I haven't much to add other than to say thanks for the great infotainment. I always look forward to a new Who on Who. I'm going to my first Gallifrey convention this February. Expect a hearty handshake from me. Thanks again, Kyle from Los Angeles. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate the kind words there and for referring to us as apt.
Well,
even if that's your opinion, but we do appreciate it. And looking forward to meeting you at Gallifrey.
That'd be nice.
Looking forward to seeing a lot of people this year.
Yeah.
Because I did meet a few last year, but I think I'll be a little more bold, like I said, this year because you'll be there with me, and so I'll have a safety
most of the time.
So you ditch me. We all know that'll happen, but anyway, this last one comes from guess who?
Mark Nuttall.
Mark Nuttall, that's right, buddy. We wait for Mark's email before we decide to record the next one.
I remember telling you, like, Mark wrote us, like, okay, we can finally
record. Let's do it. Mark says, another great show as always. Now, I'm pretty sure that Ace was wielding a baseball bat in Remembrance and not a rounder's bat. Baseball bats are pretty large and are wielded in 2 hands. Yes, you are correct there, sir. Rounder's bats are quite a lot smaller and held in 1 hand. I remember last time I told you about 9-year-old girls. Yes, I remember that as well. Ace was certainly doing some damage to the Dalek, and I'm sure she couldn't whack her way out of a paper bag with a rounder's bat. Now, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ace must have been wielding an American baseball bat.
That's what I thought.
Well, there you go. No. Plus, it was aluminum. I don't know. I don't remember if Mary or Graham said that rounders could have an aluminum bat. The Brits seem to be against the whole aluminum cricket thing, so I would imagine, maybe with rounders because it's little girls and they're lighter.
I don't know.
See, our American baseball players are very girly, and they have to have... No, I'm just kidding. They're all juiced. They're going to come over to our house and beat me up. Anyway, he says, he continues to say, I really enjoyed the interview with Daniel Hall, and if he's up for it, I think it would be great to get him back. Maybe even every 6 months or so, perhaps with a quick review of the previous 6 months DVD releases. What's come out? What were the best extras? Were there any special difficulties or issues with any releases, and maybe a sneaky peek on exciting new stuff to look forward to. Like you, I think that we Doctor Who fans are especially well served with the classic DVD releases. There's always a lot of care to make sure that not only is the DVD picture of the highest standard, but the range of extras available is second to none. We've all seen DVD releases where the picture quality is poor and there are virtually no extras, and it does diminish. It does, thank you, diminish the appreciation of the show. However, with Doctor Who, it's the other way around. Even the dog stories have got something wonderful on the disc, even if it isn't the story itself. My understanding is that within the next couple of years, the whole library of Classic Who will be out. So I think we should take bets on which will be the last Doctor Who DVD release. That's an interesting idea. He says, my guess is that it will be a real classic like Terror of the Autons or similar. On to the Daleks. Without a doubt, this is the most important story in Doctor Who history. Without this one story, we would have 13 episodes of a peculiar little curiosity almost 50 years ago. The cliffhanger at the end of episode 1, when Barbara's being threatened by a strange appendage, is a true classic, and the whole, quote, tradition of cliffhangers starts right here. Okay, I can see that the cliffhanger at the end of An Unearthly Child is pretty awesome as well. Okay, also, the character of the Doctor is very ambivalent. We've already seen the Doctor threaten to kill someone in the previous story, and in this story, he puts everybody at risk by sabotaging his ship simply so that he can have a look around. He isn't a hero. There's some terrific drama. I particularly like the scene where Ian challenges the Thals to the point of fighting to prove that they can rebel, and then they are arguing about the morality of putting the Thals at risk simply for their own interests so that they can get the Mercury link back. Brilliant drama, and this is aimed at a children/family audience. You just don't get this depth of drama in today's cutaway speed shows.
Oh, yeah.
Marty, good luck at college.
Oh, thanks.
I think it's helped having the two of you on the show, and I'm looking forward to your continued contributions whenever possible. But studies in college life must take precedence, and as we say over here, fill your boots. Regards, Mark. I think that was the one that I read that, and I said, oh, whoops, I think I wasn't real clear here. Yes, college does take precedence, plus Marty is working. And we'll be, living with, roommates and that sort of thing.
Other people that I will kick out of the house when we're recording.
But recording is second only
it's
to
Doctor
school.
Who, so
we're still going to do it. Yeah. So unless we run into some unforeseen problem, but even then, you know.
I can't think of anything that would honestly stop me from doing it. So
yeah,
but.
Yeah. You'll just have to drive home.
Yeah, that's right.
Once a month.
I actually have to come back. Yeah.
Bring your laundry. Let Mom work on that, and you and I can record. We'll work something out. But no, we're definitely still planning on doing it and looking forward to it. So, so that is that. That brings us to the end of the email.
Cool.
So,
all right.
I believe it is time. All right, so we'll go ahead and get the TARDIS controls.
Do you actually mind if I program the TARDIS this time? I kind of want to learn how to drive it just in case, one time you're not here.
Okay, but be careful. All right. The last time I let you near the console,
the fire was put out. It was okay.
But still. All right. So where are we going?
We are going to December 21st, 1963.
Okay, all right.
Do I hit this button right here?
Well, yeah. Hold the flip. Here we go. What? That's a weird sound.
I don't think it's supposed to make that noise.
It's never made that noise before. Hey, whoa. Okay. Hold on. Push that blue button.
Which blue button?
That one. They're all blue. No, they're not blue. Flip that switch right there. It's never done this before. Look, that music is a little weird.
It doesn't. That doesn't sound like 1963 music.
Hold on. I think we're going to come in here.
Okay. Well, that was a rough ride.
Yeah, it was. Gosh, I don't even... Well, check the scanner and see where we are, but judging by the fact that everything's not in black and white and that music was a little 80-ish, I'm afraid we're not in 1963.
Stole. Now.
Let's see. March 22nd, 1984. Oh, Marty.
What happened? What'd I do?
March 22nd, 1984. That's not the Daleks.
What is it?
It's Twin Dilemma.
Oh, God.
What's that light blinking on the console right there?
I don't know. That's the check engine light.
Oh, come on, Marty. This is a TARDIS, not a Chevy.
It says check engine on the light.
Look at that. Didn't know we had a check engine light. That's interesting. All right, well... Okay, we're going to be here for a little bit.
Might as well get Twin Dilemma over with since we're here.
Kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
You know? All right, okay, well.
Okay.
March 22nd, 1984, Twin Dilemma, my senior year of high school, dating myself a little bit. It's a 4-part story. First story with the Sixth Doctor and Perry.
Yes.
Written by Anthony Stephen. All right.
Okay.
Well, let's discuss, folks.
Yeah.
Story is about two twins, hence the title.
Yeah, Twin Dilemma.
Well, did I say two twins like there's ever 6 twins?
Well, there's octuplets.
There's 6 sets of twins.
Okay.
You know, when I was a little kid growing up, little interesting piece of trivia here, because I'm a twin. I'm not an identical twin. Nobody freak out. On the road that I lived on growing up, there were 7 sets of twins.
Really?
Yeah. Most of us were fraternal, boy-girl sets, boy-boy sets, where there's, don't look anything alike. But there were a couple identicals. And so it was fun,
Actually didn't know that.
Yeah. But anyway, Twin Dilemma is about 2 guys named Romulus and Remus.
Yes, 2 young adult twins.
They are supposedly geniuses.
Mm-hmm. And math.
In math, yeah. They in the beginning of the story, they talk about wanting to, quote, play equations.
Yeah.
And it seems to frighten their dad a little bit when they talk about that.
Then he leaves and they start playing Space Invaders.
So he leaves. So yeah. And they play some
Space Invaders type game.
Yep. It looked like Donkey Kong or something crazy. Like, whoa, how far have we come? So they are taken to Jaconda. And
I'm glad you wrote these names down because I did not.
Then the scene shifts and we are back inside the TARDIS post Castrovalva.
Yes.
Okay, or not? Excuse me, not Castrovalva. Caves of Androzani. Post Caves of Androzani, the Doctor has regenerated. He's up on his feet. Perry is looking confused,
quite bewildered.
Quite bewildered, and the Doctor is
a little bit fatter, a little bit more blonde, kind of curly.
A little erratic.
Yeah.
Not crazy erratic yet, but let's talk a little bit about.
I'd like to step out here, actually, in defense of the Sixth Doctor before we even get started on that, because I know a lot of people don't like him.
Right.
The first time I ever experienced the Sixth Doctor was in a Big Finish story. I can't remember the name of it, but I really liked his character. And then I listened to a couple more of him, and then the first one I actually saw with him was Trial of a Time Lord, the very first one. Mm-hmm. So I kind of grew to like the Sixth Doctor before I saw this one.
That's a good way to do it, actually, because Trial of a Time Lord, and back when I was reviewing those, the Mysterious Planet is the first episode in the Trial of a Time Lord series, and he and Perry get along very well together because they've been traveling together for some time. They've built up a rapport. They still tease each other, but it's affectionate.
It's not like it was in this episode at all.
This is volatile. Now, this was my first exposure to the Sixth Doctor.
Really?
Was this episode.
I think that's why a lot of people just don't like
him.
So
I grew to have a horrible distaste for him right away. I was like, first of all, you don't choke anyone. You don't choke your companion. You're the hero of the story.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a second. But now going back, And watching this again and I have to say this was probably my second time watching it because I had a real hard time the first time with it.
Right.
And it was several years ago. But I'll talk a little bit about Perry. I'm fond of Perry, the companion, because I think she's very pretty. Okay. From that point on, I don't think she was very well developed. She's supposed to be a botany student. I don't think that ever came up at all.
No.
Okay. Let's face it. She was there to look good.
Yeah.
Okay. But her reaction to the doctor was bordering on.
That was just rude.
Yeah, rude and mean.
Yeah, I know Americans are generally perceived over in the UK as being rude sometimes.
Oh, that's a very interesting insight. Do you think because Perry was supposed to be American, that's why they played it that way?
Maybe, but even for an American standards, she was way out of line. She basically, I compared it to when Rose saw the Ninth Doctor turn to the 10th Doctor, and she said, "I want you to change it back," and he said, "I can't."
Yeah.
It was almost the same kind of reaction, except Perry took it one step further and said how much she just did not like the way he looked and how she didn't want to have to look at him when he looked like that, and on.
She handed him the mirror and said, "Look at yourself," and goes on and on.
Even though I really liked what he said there, noble brow, clear gaze.
Yeah. He loved himself.
Yeah.
Enough for both of them.
I was okay with that. He spoke very poetically, and I liked that.
Yeah. But yeah, I was a little put off by her reaction. I mean, you kind of have to take it with the fact that there's a little bit of shock there because somebody that you trust and you travel with and everything all of a sudden completely changes inside and out. So I could go there.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But let's still have a little bit of decorum. I think, and I don't know. I'm with you. I sort of took that the wrong way, and I didn't even really think about the whole American thing. I certainly hope they don't think we're that rude.
I hope not.
I mean, we tend to be a little more blunt. But many of the folks from the UK that I've met and talked to both in person and online have remarked how refreshing they find that.
Yeah,
because sometimes they get a little bogged down with all the.
I was actually reading something the other day. One of my favorite authors is Terry Pratchett, got this Discworld series, and I was reading a quote that he said, the difference between the British and the Americans, a British person will read something and say, "I don't understand this, what's wrong with me?" Whereas an American will read the same thing and say, "I don't understand this, what's wrong with him?"
I don't know that that's fair. I may have to deck him if I ever meet him. No, I'm kidding.
I wouldn't do that.
He's old. Pow! That's from America, buddy. I see what he's saying, and of course, everybody has a right to their own opinion, and your opinions are based on your own experience. So if you ran across some jerk Americans,
I don't think he meant it as like all Americans are rude. It's just Americans tend to blame other people. And I can agree that I've dealt with a lot of people. I've dealt with a lot of people that have done something.
Well, I will admit that the pass the buck mentality has begun to grow in our society, and I'm not going to pull out my dad's soapbox or my political soapbox or anything like that because I don't want to ostracize people. But yeah, we've become a whiny country of people who point at everybody else and say, I don't have this because it's their fault, or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we've lost what I feel is the American spirit. To go out and bust your butt and make something of yourself. And I don't know if that's what he's going with there or not. I mean, I
think that's basically what he was going with.
I have run across that too.
Yeah.
But
we're not all like that, though.
It is what it is. No, we try not to be. So, please.
But anyways, back to Doctor Who.
But yes, back to Doctor Who. So we get back and find out that the twins have been kidnapped, and for their mathematical genius, they're going to be used for what can really only be described as an insane experiment that involves moving planets.
Yeah.
Into orbit around another planet that is dying. Tough one there. Tough one. But we kind of go back and forth, which is interesting, between what's going on in the TARDIS to what's going on
elsewhere.
You know, with the twins until fate sort of brings them together.
Yeah. We cut back to the Sixth Doctor, and he's wearing that rainbow explosion, as Colin Baker calls it.
But let's talk about that scene for a minute. We do cut back to him, and he's in the wardrobe room, and he tries on Troughton's fur coat. He tries on Pertwee's velvet.
Yeah.
You know, you see him checking himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, sucking in his gut, and different stuff. Overall, he lands on that. Like you said, rainbow explosion.
That's how Colin Baker himself described his costume, a rainbow explosion.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fair. And really, I don't think that, I mean, after listening to the commentary and other interviews with Mr. Baker, I don't think that there's anybody that's more appalled at the fact that he was stuck wearing that.
Than Colin Baker himself.
But
he takes it in stride.
He does take it in stride, and he has good humor about it, and I got to give him a lot of points for that.
Yeah.
But,
I saw interviews with him.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I saw interviews with him talking to people while he was in his costume, and they were just going, my God, that is such a terrible looking suit. And he's like, yes, I know, thank you.
Yeah, I know. And talking about Americans being rude.
I know.
Good Lord, I mean, those were British folks. I mean, come on. Maybe it was just the 80s. I don't remember the 80s being rude.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't remember much of the 80s at all.
No, you were kind of young.
That was, I think.
And came in late.
Yeah,
so.
I came in very late, 88.
Yeah, so, let's see. So he gets the costume on. There was something else I was going to say about that, too.
And because, the rainbow explosion wasn't, terrible enough, he leans down and picks up the cat brooch.
Well, see, now the cat brooch was his.
Yeah. Which I was okay
he's
with.
a cat lover like us.
I mean, if the Fifth Doctor can wear a stick of celery, then, I think he can pull off a cat brooch.
Cat brooch makes more sense.
Yeah.
They should have given the Doctor a real cat, a familiar.
Well, he did. The Sixth Doctor did go around with a penguin for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Shape-shifting penguin
in the comic strip. Yeah,
Frobisher.
And we will talk about that a little bit when we get to the DVD extras. But I know what it was. Honestly, if anybody's to blame for that outfit, and I don't think there's a Doctor Who fan out there, a long-term Doctor Who fan, that would argue with me on this, it's John Nathan Turner.
Yeah.
And at that point, somebody who John Nathan Turner reports to should have took one look at that outfit and said, okay, you need either a vacation, call it a holiday over there, or you need to step down and let somebody else do this job because you've obviously been in it too long.
Because he was like, somebody was designing the suits and taking him to him, and he just kept saying no, no, no. And then she did that one as a joke.
Yeah.
Like he's obviously going to say no to this one. And she put it up, and he goes, yes, that's the one. Let's do that. And she's, really? Okay.
Now, I know that behind the scenes, John Nathan Turner busted his butt for this show. He did everything he could for this show to keep it in the public eye and everything else. Maybe it was all part of some master plan, but I've seen pictures of John Nathan Turner, the way he dressed. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't have been picking outfits for the Doctor. Sorry. And I don't know. Anyway.
Well, we'll come back to the outfit when we get to the extras.
Yeah, we'll come back to that too. But the Doctor has another attack, and he begins to become very wary and very convinced that Perry's evil.
He goes back and forth for
these. Her.
Yeah, for the entire show, he goes back and forth between what I call the evil Doctor and himself. And honestly, I started thinking about like the Valyard, and I know people don't like to compare the Valyard to the Dream Lord in the new season, but it almost seemed like he was battling with his inner self at that point because the evil Doctor would show up and choke Perry or almost kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This regeneration seems to be very intense.
Yeah.
When Peter Davison became the Doctor, he spent most of Castrovalva kind of in a haze. Just kind of listless and laying around.
That was his personality, though.
Right. It was. So this time they decided to be a little more dynamic, a little more intense, and come at it. Come out guns blazing, and that's literally what they did with him, with Colin Baker. And, like it or not, I mean, you can't knock the performance.
No.
The performance was great.
Yeah, I thought it was good. The Perry choking scene was a bit shocking, even though I knew it was coming to me.
Yeah, it was a bit shocking, but, it's funny. I mentioned that I had first seen this years ago on videotape, and so this was the It's only the second time I've ever seen it. It wasn't as bad as I remembered it in my mind.
Yeah. Well, it's because you built it up. You saw it the one time, you go, oh my God. But if you build it up beforehand, like I did, I heard it was this horrible scene where he chokes Perry, and I watched it. Like, that wasn't terrible. It was bad, but it wasn't terrible.
No, but then he goes into a state of remorse after he does that and decides he needs to be a hermit.
He doesn't even remember that he did it.
Right. So he decides that he's going to be a hermit. Perry's going to be his...
which even then I thought he was a little bit crazy.
Oh, yeah. Sure he is.
You will be there for 1,000 years, and you will be my disciple.
Yeah.
You will cater to my every need. I was like, what?
No, I don't think so. So he decides to go to a barren asteroid.
Titan 3.
And so they go there, and that is where they run across the rest of the things that are going on in this story.
Yes.
They meet the lieutenant... the starfighter pilot who...
I did like when they brought that up later on in the story.
Yeah.
Did you notice that? How the doctor kept calling him Sergeant, I think?
Yeah.
And one time he...
Perry says it's Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, and they both go, no, it's Lieutenant.
It's Lieutenant.
And I thought of our show at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to go with that. But anyways, it didn't remind me of the whole thing. But
so they find one survivor at the wreckage of the ship.
Basically what happens is he and his armada, if you will, however small they were, are destroyed. But he survives. His ship is destroyed. So when he sees the Doctor and Perry, he immediately believes the Doctor's the one that did it, pulls a gun on him.
Yeah.
However, the Doctor is the one who actually rescues him, brings him back to health in the TARDIS. I thought that the Lieutenant would have been a great companion. I thought he would have been a great add-on.
Yeah, I could have seen that.
Because he wasn't going to put up with any guff from the Doctor.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been interesting to have him. And it's nice because we'll talk about later. He's on the commentary track with Nicola Bryant and Colin Baker. And so it's a lot of fun to hear them, talking back and forth about everything. But yeah, he joins them, and they end up going after. They end up meeting up with the old guy, Asmael, and the Doctor recognizes him as a former teacher from Gallifrey.
Right. Which, see, when I watched it, it almost sounded like they were making reference to him previously being in the show at some point.
Yeah, and it seems to me like they've done that before.
They did
shows.
it in Trial of a Time Lord too. I think the first episode with Mel, he meets a guy who he's claimed to have met before, but never actually met before.
Yes, that's right. Terra the Vervoids.
Yeah.
The guy that's running the ship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think that just sort of strengthens the whole notion that the Doctor has many adventures that we don't see on screen.
Right.
Obviously. Right. I did kind of like the character of Asmael because he sort of lended a little bit of credence to the Doctor because this is a new Doctor for us,
right?
And it made the Doctor, the scene where he's talking about Asmael getting drunk and him carrying him home,
right?
During his fourth incarnation. Sort of made the Doctor more of a sympathetic and likable character than he had been up to that point. So I did kind of enjoy that they introduced him. So at least we did get that.
Right.
But we find out that Asmael had left Gallifrey as well and had become the leader of the Jacondans, some bird people who can't fly, which is interesting. And he is basically at the mercy of the big bad guy. Right now to do what needs to be done to save the Jacondan planet.
Right.
So, like I said before, it's kind of a convoluted story in the premise behind pulling two planets out of orbit and putting them in orbit around another world, and using higher maths to do that and all. Other than that, I mean, I'm not going to do a blow by blow of the story like we typically don't, but the story obviously does resolve itself, but I did have a couple things to say here. So first of all, I thought the costumes were horrible in this one, and I hate to say that, but not just the Doctor's suit. I'm talking about like the medical scrubs that we're trying to pass off as flight uniforms,
right?
For Hugo.
Well, this was the finale of a season, wasn't it?
Yes, this was right after Caves Van der Zon.
Yeah, so whereas normally I think they would save the next episode for the post-regeneration episode for the next season, they kind of were going off of no budget at this point because it was the end of the season. They didn't have anything left.
Yeah, we should talk about that for a second. We should sort of take a pause here and discuss that because some newer Doctor Who fans may not be familiar with this. But typically, as we know now from having just seen the Matt Smith season and obviously when David Tennant regenerated into the 10th Doctor, that typically a new Doctor starts a new season.
Right.
And this was the one time where John Nathan Turner said, rather than make people wait, and possibly lose interest, I'm going to let him have his first adventure as the last story in this season.
Which I'm not sure was the smartest idea.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
It crippled the budget, first of all, so it made the whole costumes and effects, everything a little lackluster. I think the thing... Also, there was no anticipation at all. It was, who's this guy who's replacing Peter Davison? Oh, we'll find out, in 7 days. As opposed to, we'll find out in 9 months. Right.
Well, plus he comes off so brash in this first story.
And then you have to wait and the whole season thinking, oh, this guy's just a jerk.
Exactly.
We're stuck with this guy.
So forget it. I'm done. I'm done with Doctor Who.
So I'm not sure that was the best idea.
Do you think, my suspicion on this is that they probably lost viewers rather than gained viewers?
Oh, I'm sure.
Do you think so?
I'm sure. I mean, the series was in trouble at this point, wasn't it?
Yes.
Even after the season, all the way to the Trial of a Time Lord, it was pretty much in danger.
It was in trouble the whole time. The whole time during Callum Baker's reign, and most, I would say, even your Doctor Who fans who don't particularly care for Colin Baker's Doctor will readily, if they've watched any of his stories, see that it's not really his fault. And I don't know that I would fault either him or Nicola Bryant maybe Bonnie Langford a little, but that's a completely different story. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't fault Colin Baker. I think, like you said through the audio stories, he's proven himself to be a bankable Doctor.
Oh, yes. I mean, if you listen to some of the Big Finish productions, he's definitely in my top 5 as far as Doctors go.
Well, yeah, okay.
I mean, just I like the way he portrays him, but the series, the on-screen appearances just don't do him justice, in my opinion.
Well, and the off-screen things that were going on certainly didn't help, because there were issues with writers and producers and budget and, them telling them to, cut out the violence a little bit. And, then there were protests. Some lady named Mary Whitehouse was going all freaked out about the amount of violence on TV. Mary, change the channel. Okay?
Exactly.
From one conservative to another. Okay? If you don't like what's on TV, change the channel. That's what it's there for.
Exactly.
Okay? So, anyway.
If you're going to check out the Big Finish ones, Marian Conspiracy is really, really good.
Marian Conspiracy?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, so I personally, though, here was a few little sort of sum up notes that I had made as I was going along here. I said the Doctor was erratic more than usual, possibly too much. I also said that the story was not bad.
No,
I made a note, story not bad. There's been worse stories, right? Yeah. Bless you. The costumes were terrible, like I said. The acting was too over the top for me.
A little, yeah.
The acting bordered on pantomime. There was a lot of scene chewing. There was a lot of. I mean, there were some great actors there, but I really feel like the acting was more overacted than it should have been.
Yeah. The thing that really bothered me, though, I just got off praising the Sixth Doctor, but in Part 2 and I think in Part 3, he just completely did like when they were being approached by what were they called, the bird people, the
Gicondans.
They were being approached by the Gicondans, and it was the Doctor and Perry, and he just hides behind Perry and says, "No, take her instead. I didn't have anything to do with it." It
was during one of his episodes, though.
All her idea. And I know that, but still, I was like, "Really? Come on, that's not the Doctor at all."
No, true, but I think that was the point. You know, he was zoning in and out of.
I think honestly that part shocked me more than the choking scene.
Really,
in all honesty, yeah. Just because I don't see the Doctor doing that ever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it was during an episode, one of his Freak Out episodes, but I don't know. It was unsettling. Let's say that.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll give you that. And the last note I made was that, and I've said this already, is that they should have made Hugo a companion.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that that would have maybe mellowed some things out for the upcoming season, given Perry somebody else to deal with who wasn't as... because her relationship with the Doctor was just...
Very rocky.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a bad marriage. And so it would have helped, I think. But they didn't go that route. You know, I don't know. Maybe budgetary, maybe... The actor said, "Forget it." I don't know.
I don't know.
But
yeah, you mentioned that before I started watching, and I kind of agree. It would have almost been like Rory in the new season, how he always stood up to the Doctor. And
yeah. I mean,
podcasters can say what you want. I will defend Rory. I liked Rory.
Oh, I like Rory.
Yeah,
but you don't have to defend him to me.
No, I know that. I'm just I hear everybody. You know, he was a worthless character. He had no emotion, no connection. I had more connection to Rory than I did to Amy.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. And I think that I love that you pointed out to me in the two-parter with the Silurians that tiny little incident, you blink and you miss, and maybe some other people caught this, and I'm just
I think I got that from somebody else mentioned.
Oh, was it that you know, when the power shuts off in that church and then it comes back on and the Doctor's worried about the equipment.
And the first thing Rory says is everybody okay?
Yeah, because that's what he does. He's a caretaker. And, you know, and not afraid to question the Doctor.
Exactly.
Or to, you know, point things out to him. Like, you know, people get a little reckless around you because they're trying to impress you. I think the Doctor needs that. I think, you know, a lot of people talk about the crowded TARDIS during Davison's era. Okay. And maybe it was a little crowded. Okay. 3 companions in the Doctor. Maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people who are pro it will point out that the first Doctor traveled with
3 companions.
With 3 companions. But the first Doctor was not... didn't quite fill the same role as the 5th Doctor. You know what I mean? He wasn't as dynamic. He wasn't as in the forefront because he was an older gentleman. So I think it was a little bit different.
But even still, I think some of the best companions come in pairs.
Sure.
Ben and Polly, Jamie and Zoe.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I mean... That's just my theory on it.
Oh yeah. But anyway, that was the last thing that I had to say about that. Well, why don't we go ahead and rate the story?
Okay.
You opened the show, so I'm going to let you rate the story first.
Okay. Normally,
out of 5. Don't go crazy.
All right. I won't pull a Steve. Normally, when I take notes, I write down what the rating is on here, and I wrote down 2 out of 5, but I'm actually going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Just because I did notice some things that weren't that great, and I would almost rate it a little, just slightly below Full Circle, maybe on the same level as that, as far as story quality. Yes, I did like this better than Warriors Gate. I'm sorry. It's 200 out of 200 on the DW magazine, whatever.
Doctor Who magazine.
Doctor Who magazine. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'd rather have a bad plot where something happens than a good plot where nothing happens. So
right. Okay.
That's just my opinion.
So 2.5.
2.5. Yeah.
Okay. You know, I think I'm gonna agree with you on that. Initially, I was gonna go 2, but I think you've sold me here, and I think I gave Warriors Gate a 2. And I have to agree with you that I think that this is maybe not a better story, but it's more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Warriors Gate suffered from a really hard concept, number 1, and number 2, a doctor who was just phoning it in. And you can say what you want about Colin Baker. He wasn't phoning it in here. He was giving it his all. So, I'm going to go with you on that, and I'm going to give it a 2.5 as well.
All right, 2.5.
All right. Well, that covers the review of The Twin Dilemma. So let's go ahead and move on to DVD extras.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Okay, this disc obviously is a single disc. Has many of your standard
Honestly,
extras.
I was kind of surprised. I expected to go into the extras expecting like 2 or 3, and there's at least 2 menus full of extras.
Yeah, there were.
And I was like, man.
And an Easter egg.
Yeah, and an Easter egg.
Which
really,
we don't get on every disc. So
I know.
That was kind of nice. Thank you,
really-
Daniel Hall and the
Yeah.
folks at To Entertain for our Easter egg.
They packed it in here.
Let's go ahead and start with the Easter egg. Okay.
Okay.
It's the filming of the TARDIS appearing on Jaconda. Mm-hmm. There's no sound.
It's silent footage. So.
Yeah, so that was a little off-putting, but I know it was stuff that they shot on film.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you as a film student because I'm ignorant here. They have sound when they film that.
Yes.
I know that a lot of times they have to go back and dub it and re-record in studio because an airplane might fly overhead or something crazy like that. So I get that. But when they are recording, there's sound there, right?
Generally, yeah, they have microphones. Well, you have to understand, this was the 80s, so technology then is completely different than technology now.
Yeah, but I mean surely they had microphones out there.
They had microphones.
They
I
had
have no idea how they hooked up the microphones to the cameras, though.
Right.
Like now, I've worked on productions where we have a boom mic that is directly hooked into the camera.
Right.
And I don't think they did that back then. I don't know. I mean...
Well, and I will say this. I believe the scene that we keep seeing, we see several points, of this scene. Mm-hmm. I don't believe there is dialogue because when the Doctor first steps out of the TARDIS, he's, breathes in the air and, you can see him talking, but you can't hear. It's just a little off-putting is all. I'd be curious why there was no sound.
If I had to guess, I'd say it was probably just a different angle shot. Because if 2 cameras are shooting and only one can be hooked up with sound, then,
that's a good point.
They're just going to cut the audio off that one.
Right.
If the other track worked, they'll just, copy and paste it.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good point. Daniel Hall, if you're listening, shoot us an email and let us know if you know any of the backstory or the scuttlebutt, as we say over here in America.
Did we say that? I've never heard that before.
No?
No.
Well, I'm coining it right now. Yeah, write in and let us know. How come there's no sound on that clip?
Okay,
David Huey's aggravated by that. Okay, let's talk about the audio options commentary.
Yes.
Okay, Colin Baker, Nicola Bryant, and the actor who played Lieutenant Hugo, and I believe his name is Kevin
McNally.
McNally, thank you. Great commentary.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I only listened to the first episode, but I actually enjoyed it.
Okay, I've said this before, kind of, tongue in cheek, but I don't mean this to not be genuine. Colin Baker gives good commentary. Mm-hmm. Of all the Doctors, I would say the only one that even comes close is maybe Sylvester McCoy. I don't. No, Peter. I'll say Peter Davison. Peter Davison comes close because he has a pretty good rapport usually with who he's doing commentary with. Mm-hmm. But Colin Baker remembers everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything. He could tell you what he had for lunch the day they were filming, the weather. I mean, everything. And it's sometimes it's a great insight into his personality. Like they're watching a scene and there'll be an extra there and he'll say, who is that? And at this particular point, Nicola Bryant points her out and says, "Oh, I think that's so-and-so." Calls her by her first name. "Oh, yes, she went on to do this and this and this, and all that."
Yeah.
So either it's a very tight community there of performers in the UK, or he reads the trades a lot. I don't know, but he's great. I mean, he seems to be genuinely.
Sorry.
I was just going to say he seems to be genuinely happy to do the commentary for the fans, and is pretty honest about everything. So.
The thing that I picked up was that he seems to be even after the stuff that happened to him in his reign as the Doctor, he still seems to be a fan of the show. He references things from the Tennant era.
Oh yeah,
and
he does.
I didn't, because normally when I hear other Doctors talk about the new series, they don't seem to pay attention to it. Like, I think even Tom Baker said, "No, I don't watch the new series because that's not my Doctor."
Well, Tom Baker's crazy, though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tom Baker fans. I love him. I do.
Yeah, he's a good Doctor,
crazy.
But
you have to admit he's crazy. I mean, he just is. But Yeah, he does. I think he does. He may not watch it religiously, but I'm sure he does watch it. And I mean, you have to consider his exit was probably the most well publicized and worst handled exit of any. He didn't quit. I mean, he was removed.
Yeah.
And so then, he gets a little bad press from the uninformed when he doesn't come back to film a Regeneration for Time in the Ronnie. But who's to blame the guy?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I'm not going to do it. For all I know, he may have been off doing something else as well. I'm not sure. But, I mean, he does seem to be in good humor about it. I mean, for that matter, Big Finish, like you've talked about.
Exactly.
He's gone on to reprise his role as the Doctor in Big Finish quite a bit.
And seems to have fun doing it.
Yeah, I think he does. And plays off. He's done a couple multi-Doctor stories, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. In Big Finish?
Yep.
So I'm assuming gets along fine with all the others that he's met and, as well. So I believe... somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, if you may know the answer to this. Isn't he doing a series of adventures with Fraser Hines as Jamie?
Yes, pretty soon.
Jamie's traveling with the Sixth Doctor? Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting.
I'm not sure how... I really want to hear those. I'm not sure how that's going to work, though. Because I think it takes place after Jamie's already met the Second Doctor, so...
Yeah, I would imagine it has.
But they have done that before. I think the Eighth Doctor traveled with somebody for a while in the Big Finish stories, and then... she left him and picked up with the Sixth Doctor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I need to follow Big Finish. I just... there's not enough time in the day and not enough money in my wallet, know. But I really need to do that. So, okay. Well... this
is just stuff I read. I don't get to listen to all of them.
All in all, I would highly recommend the commentary. Mm-hmm. And also the info text, which I think was par for infotext. It wasn't fantastic. But,
I generally miss the infotext just because I listen to the commentary and a lot of times it overlaps. So.
Well, usually when I go through and it does overlap a little bit on this one, not too bad. But usually I'll watch it all the way through one time, and then I'll watch it a second time with commentary infotext on, unless you're hounding me for the disc back so that you can watch it. But but other than that, but yeah, the infotext was pretty good. Okay, the next extra we're going to talk about is one called The Starman. Mm-hmm. Now, this got me excited because the Jeff Bridges film in the 80s was one of my favorites. I was very disappointed. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding there, folks. And the TV sequel with Robert Hayes. But
this is about the title sequence for the...
Yeah, it's about them producing the new title sequence.
The end of the Fourth Doctor up to the Sixth Doctor, the star sequence.
Yeah, talking about forming the face in the star. Because Tom Baker's face was already out there. Mm-hmm. So then they decided to modify it.
Yeah, they mentioned how Tom Baker had an interesting face and Davison kind of had a very boring face, and they were happy to get Colin Baker because he actually had an interesting face again.
Yeah. It was okay. It's not really my thing, so I was kind of... I watched through it and I thought, all right. I wish they would have said something about why Sylvester McCoy winks.
Well, I know that was a different opening, though. That wasn't...
it was a different opening. But I'd like to find that one out. So hopefully they'll do another one and explain the wink. Because
hopefully,
that one
on a McCoy disc.
Okay, next one, my favorite extra.
Look 100 years younger?
Yes, look 100 years younger.
Oh,
with,
yes.
Colin Baker and Amy
Amy
LeMay, who's a comedian, style icon, and knitter, who's American.
Yeah.
Because I sat there, I actually watched it twice to try to pick up her accent a little bit, and I'm like, she's an American. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's basically the two of them looking at every Doctor's costume and up to the Seventh Doctor and just commenting on it.
Yeah. And I think he was fair, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. And again, I have to say, he takes that outfit that he wore in stride.
Yeah.
Because even he called it a rainbow explosion.
Yeah, an explosion in a rainbow factory,
yeah.
I think. Yeah. But they save his till the very end.
Yeah.
But you're right, he does take it
and
into
he
good
mentioned
humor.
that he wanted something more closer to what Eccleston wore.
Yeah, something black and I think he was he said in the commentary that what he was looking for was something more Matrix-like.
Yeah.
The long black coat and the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then they went and
that was the best part, was at the end when they play the ending of Twin Dilemma and he turns around and I guess they did this in like After Effects or something, but his costume explodes in like a rainbow thing and comes back and it's a solid black like suit and tie thing.
Yeah. And I don't
And
know
he
how
goes,
they
"That's
did
it. That's what I wanted." Right
Yeah,
there.
and it's clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clean. Whoever did that effect needs to go back and redo all
Everything.
the Sixth Doctor episodes. Put him in a normal suit. And think about this. You could co-opt with Underground Toys,
Yeah.
okay, to get them to pony up half the money because they could come out with a whole new line of action figures for the Sixth Doctor. Yeah, please. It would be nice. But no, other than that, there's a certain amount of eccentricity to the Doctor that I kind of like, but yeah. But yeah, that was fun, and that was my favorite part too. The next extra is called Stripped for Action.
This was another one I really, really like. Stripped for Action, Sixth Doctor.
Yeah, it talks all about the Sixth Doctor's comic strip adventures with Frobisher.
Yes.
Who you talked about briefly a little while ago. So.
Frobisher actually shows up in a couple of Big Finish also.
Really?
Yeah, which is strange because he's more of a visual character.
Right.
So it's kind of weird to listen to him and not really have a clear picture.
Now, see, I never knew who Frobisher was. Now, I understand he was a shapeshifter originally, and then he got stuck in the form of a penguin.
I think he can... he was...
But then later he could shapeshift again.
Yeah,
now.
he used to be, like, he used to shapeshift into, like, all these weird things, like a detective with this weird face and all this stuff, and then he got stuck as a penguin, but he felt comfortable as a penguin.
Right.
So he just stayed that way.
Okay. And then in the audio adventures, is he a penguin, do you know?
Yeah,
or
he's
is
still
he-
a penguin.
So
Yeah.
he's still stuck
I've
in
only
that
heard
form.
him in one story, and he was still a penguin.
Interesting.
So...
I don't know. That to me seems almost a little too cartoony. I mean, listen, I'm the first one to defend the fact that Doctor Who is a kids show and it's a family show, and a lot of times we Doctor Who fans forget that. And so maybe I should be okay with that, but it seems a little too Willy Wonka for me to have him running around with a penguin.
If you think less about him being a penguin and more about him being an alien, then it works better.
I guess.
Chameleon was a shapeshifter.
Chameleon didn't work.
Yeah, but still.
The last time we saw Chameleon, ladies and gentlemen, he had shapeshifted himself into a Coke machine, and he was left in an airport terminal.
No, but what's actually funny about this? They were talking about this story where the Doctor actually has to. He's hunting down this one guy who's got this. The way they described the story, it sounded amazing. It's this guy who's got this map of dimensions tattooed on his chest, and he goes into like this fictional world where he meets like Red Riding Hood, not like Mind Robber, like actually goes into the books
I saw that
and all that. And then I was curious because I know IDW is putting out some Doctor Who comics right now, some classic stories,
right?
And I have issue 2, but not issue 1. So I opened up to issue 1, and it was the second issue of that storyline. So they are republishing it.
Wait a minute, you said you have issue 2, but not issue 1.
When I went to get issue 1, they were out, so I got issue 2.
But you just said you opened issue 1.
No, I opened issue 2.
Oh, you opened issue 2. I'm sorry.
I misspoke.
Okay. All right, no, that's fine.
So, but yeah, they are republishing the Sixth Doctor's line right now.
Oh, cool. So you're going to get issue 1?
I'm trying. I've been trying for like 8 weeks now, and the
Is it a
guys...
Christmas idea?
Maybe. Hopefully not.
Anybody out there has issue 1, contact me.
No, I've been trying through several different places, and people just can't seem to get it to me, so
well,
I'm doomed to never read issue 1.
Maybe not. If somebody out there has a spare issue 1 of IDW Sixth Doctor.
Doctor Who Classics Series 3, issue 1.
Series 3, issue 1. If you got a spare copy, if you're willing to part with it, we will pony up whatever cash.
Yes.
Within reason. All right, let's not go crazy and email me and say $500 because that won't fly.
No.
But
I'll pay.
but yeah,
seriously, I'll pay for the comic. I'll pay for shipping. I just need it.
Yeah. So let us know. Okay, the last extra that I have written here is the Breakfast Time program where they interview Nicola Bryant and
Oh
Colin
my God,
Baker.
this lady was rude.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because we're talking about the hostess on the show. Maybe this is a very British thing. Okay, I don't know, but I wrote here, "Don't like the hostess!"
Yeah.
Exclamation point. Lady, I mean, come on. I mean, she was just very dismissive, very rude.
Gosh.
Blaming Colin Baker for the costume. Well, not blaming him, but I mean, just kind of mocking the costume.
I know.
And, but he seemed to take it in stride.
That's why I was like, man, I would have punched that girl at this point.
Well, see, that would have been an American reaction.
I guess, yeah. But
he was internalizing it like a good Brit. But
but then after that whole mocking scene, it kind of got better. They started asking him questions and. He changed out of his costume and then back into his costume.
Yeah.
So it,
Fun though.
Yeah, I liked
all in
it.
all, you know, fun. I think that must have taken place after Twin Dilemma aired.
No,
I
it
got
was
think-
before
Was
it
it
aired.
before Twin Dilemma aired?
Yeah.
Because they talk about what's coming up in the next season, like they're already filming. You know, for the
well,
next
Twin
season.
Dilemma was done filming. It was about to air. It was like that night Twin Dilemma was
okay.
going to air.
I got it. Okay. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So
Have a little patience for your old man here. Okay.
I actually have another thing down here. Blue Peter has a extra.
I missed
on here.
that.
Yeah, there's a second page on the extras. That's why I said there's more extra. That's why I said there's at least 2 pages.
Okay, what was it?
Blue Peter, it was basically just an interview. It was the same thing, except this lady was a lot nicer. And there was a cat in the interview. I don't know.
Oh, I'll explain that to you. Blue Peter, I'm explaining this. All the Brits are starting to type their email right now.
No.
You're wrong. First of all, Blue Peter and Doctor Who have a long relationship together. Okay. But Blue Peter, anytime you see clips from Blue Peter, there's typically animals on set. There's dogs. I've seen cats. Nothing crazy like Wolverines or anything like that. But usually dogs and cats out there. And so that's where the cat came from.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why? Or
that I don't know. So the British
people,
folks can write
us in.
Let us know what's the skinny with Blue Peter there. Why do they have animals on set? I know it's a kids show and they do lots of crafts and
that might be it.
They've always had a very good relationship. You know, the guy that played I think it was Steven went on to be a Blue Peter presenter. Stephen and Polly, that guy. Stephen, I think, am I second Doctor, first companion?
Ben?
Second Doctor, Ben. Maybe it was Ben.
Ben and Polly?
Might have been Ben.
It was Ben.
It's late in the day. But I'm not sure. I want to say it was Stephen somebody. But anyway, it was either Ben or Stephen. Okay, it was a guy.
I know.
Right?
I know
Early
Ben. I know
Doctor
Ben.
Companion.
Ben and Polly traveled with the second Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Then I could be wrong there.
and then it was Jamie and Victoria, and then it was Jamie. And
Okay.
Zoe.
Then it may have been Stephen who traveled with the first Doctor after Ian and Barbara left.
Maybe.
But
I don't
one
remember.
of those guys either went on to be a presenter with Blue Peter, or he started out as. But I think he went on to be a presenter with Blue Peter afterward for quite a long time. So that there's always been a little bit of kind of back and forth.
Okay.
So,
okay, that makes more sense. I thought it was okay. It wasn't like I said, it was just like the other interview, except the picture quality was a lot better, and this lady was actually kind of nice. And Colin Baker was petting the cat. That was about it.
And he likes cats.
Yeah.
So
Obviously.
were there any other extras that I missed?
Continuity photo gallery and PDF materials, which I don't usually look at. So.
Okay, all right. No documentary on the making of this.
Yeah,
Not really.
that's kind of weird.
Which that seems like a glaring omission. But then there may not have been enough material to do it.
Maybe.
Some of it may have just been dependent on the timing as well.
Yeah.
So we can't complain because like we said.
The extras
Last
we got
time-
are pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
like we said to Dan Hall last time when we were interviewing him that we get the Cadillac of all the extras for a TV show that we love.
Oh, yeah.
So we really have no room to complain about that. So all right, well, I think that brings us to a close of the Twin Dilemma.
Yeah, I think so.
Next time we're going to get this dang thing fixed, and we're going to go check out the Daleks.
We're gonna do the
For
Daleks.
sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
I think. What are we doing after that?
After the Daleks?
I think we mentioned Enlightenment, the Fifth Doctor story, because we
Yeah,
haven't
we-
done a Fifth Doctor since I've been on.
Yeah, we have not done a Fifth Doctor since you've been on. So we'll do the Daleks next, and then we will go on and do Enlightenment, which is
Okay.
part of the Black Guardian box set.
Yes.
Should we just do the whole box set?
I don't think so.
We can knock 3 out.
We could. I don't know.
Gives me an excuse to buy it.
The stories don't really seem to, except for Turlough's story, the stories really don't connect that much. It's just every now and then, like in the second story, every now and then the thing Turlough's carrying will light up and the Black Guardian will come and go, kill the Doctor!
Yeah.
And then it'll come back, but it has no connection to the rest of the story.
All right, cool. So then we'll go with Enlightenment.
I mean, it's it is the conclusion to that, but I don't think it matters that much.
Okay. All right. Well, I've seen Modern Undead before.
Yeah, so all you need to know for the second episode is that Nyssa leaves. That's pretty much it.
Oh, that's a shame.
So
But, well, Okay. All right. So that spoiled that. I don't have to watch that now. All right. Okay. So we'll do the Daleks, then we'll do Enlightenment. So, and if anyone else has any suggestions, you know what? We've gotten a suggestion many, many times about doing Genesis of the Daleks.
The only reason I didn't decide on Genesis after the Daleks was because we hadn't done a Davison one.
No. I'm not saying I still want to do the Davison one, but we really do need to do Genesis of
at
the
some
Daleks.
point. Yeah,
and so I would say maybe we'll put that one up on deck after Enlightenment.
Okay.
So because a lot of people have asked about it. All right. Well, that brings us to a close of episode 28 of Who on Who.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. You can find us on Facebook. We have a Who on Who page there. Mm-hmm. You can friend request us on Facebook, and I wanted to make a point to ask any of you out there if you're interested in adding me as a friend on Facebook, and am I speaking for you too?
Yeah,
as well?
That's fine.
Adding Marty as well. When you send the add friend request, please put a little note there that says, "I listen to your podcast." I'm not an overly suspicious person. I don't want to go into a lot of details, but if I don't know somebody and they friend request me, I immediately become suspicious unless I do a little bit of research and find out that you have other friends who are other podcasters or other listeners to the show, or that sort of thing. And just to sort of save me the detective work, if you could just drop a little note that says, "Hey, I listen to the podcast," or just write "listener" or something, just so I know, that would greatly save me a lot of time. And I would love to add you as a friend and get to know you a little bit better. So thank you for that. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/DavidHuey, all one word. Come on out to the website, www.whoonwho.com. We got a forum there. It's not real active, but we would love to have active folks out there joining the fun. Also, the Hingley brothers have been busily working in the titanium bunker. I saw them running copper wire into the bunker, and somehow they've used some old vegetable cans and some copper wire, and they've MacGyvered up some sort of voicemail system that we're going to have. So folks,
I like that's become a verb, MacGyvered.
Yeah, I know. So there, our listeners will be able to call in and leave us voicemails.
Oh, that'll be nice.
I don't have all the details yet. Mike Hingley right now is screaming at his iPod because he did give them to me. I just haven't relayed them out yet because I need to set up the American side of it.
Right.
The UK side is all set up and ready to go. Good news is it's a free call in the UK. It's also a free call in America once I get the American side set up. At least I believe it is. I may be speaking out of turn there. But anyway, we will have more on that in the next episode.
Yes.
Of Who on Who.
I actually have something else I'd like to plug. Also,
Sure.
On Facebook, I do movie reviews on my own special page. I try to update those at least once a week because I generally go to see a movie once a week.
Yes, he does.
Yes. But if you'd like to become a fan of them, go read them. They're on. You have to do a search for it. It's Now Showing Reviews on Facebook. I think I do all right on them.
Oh, I like them. The ones you used to do on YouTube, I enjoyed a lot, and I've read the ones on Facebook as well.
I don't have the ability to really do them. I don't have the ability or the time to really do them on YouTube anymore. So I try to type them up as best I can on Facebook, and people seem to like them. So
yeah. I think they're very good. I asked you about. What was it?
Kick-Ass.
Oh, Kick-Ass.
Yeah,
it came out on DVD, and I'm a big superhero nut, so I text Marty. I'm at the store on my lunch break one day, and I sent him a text that says, "Hey, would I like Kick-Ass?" And he texts me back, and all it says is, "I reviewed it on such and such a date." I'm like, "Well, thanks a lot," because I'm right in the middle of the store. I decided to hold off on it until I could read the review.
I mean, they're quick reviews. They're like 3 paragraphs or so, because I get bored after about 3 paragraphs.
But check those out as well on Facebook, and I think
that's it, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Oh, be sure to send us feedback. Feedback at whoonwho.com.
Feedback.
Be sure to do that. We love hearing from you. So thank you once again, and take care.
Bye.
Radio from Garrow.
Hello, my name's Michael. You might know me from shows such as the Tin Dog Podcast, the Who Cast, and even Podshock. Yes, I'm speaking on behalf of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. You see, we're all off. Well, some of us are all off very soon, Sunday the 5th of September 2010, to be precise, between 10 AM and 5, to Hooverville 2, the world's only Doctor Who convention, held in an engine shed. Yes, there are guest appearances by loads of people from the world of Doctor Who. Sophie Aldred, who we all know played Ace, Deborah Watling played Victoria, Dee Sadler, who played Flower Child, the Katie Manning, and Tristan Peatfield, production designer on Amy's Choice. As well as meeting these wonderful people, you'll be able to meet us, because there's going to be a podcasting panel, and that'll include audience participation, so you'll need to wear your speaking trousers, apparently. So go on, join us at Hooverville 2 on Sunday the 5th of September 2010 at the Midland Railway, Butterley, Ripley, Derbyshire. Tickets for adults cost £25, children £10 under 5 years are free, obviously accompanied by a paying adult. Family tickets, that's 2 adults and 2 children, are only £60. For more information, contact www.hoovers.org.uk. Now that's spelt WHOOVERS, and you can use secure booking at www.midlandrailwaycentre.co.uk. So hopefully see you there and many other members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. So until then, be seeing you.